Hey guys, this is Recommendations, and welcome to my review of Passenger 57. Now, I checked this one out again because, I just thought, I checked out a few other airplane, hijacking movies, which out to Air Force One. And I thought, hey, it might be a good time to give this one another look. I've always enjoyed this movie. I remember catching it on TV years ago, and I enjoyed it. And then I, rented it, I think, one time from a rental store, and I had fun with it. And I'm watching it again last night, and I still have fun with this movie. I enjoy Passenger 57. Like I said in the Nonstop review, I like this more than Nonstop. But it's not miles better than Nonstop, and it's only and I can definitely say Air Force One is better than Passenger 57. Passenger 57 is a fun movie. It's an entertaining movie. It's a movie I like. But it's also a movie that has flaws. Also a movie that is flawed, and there are some problems with it that I don't like. There are things about this movie I don't like. And I thought a little change of pace. I'm going to talk about the things I don't like first, which might not be a change of pace, because usually that's what I do. I tend to talk about things I don't like first anyway about a movie, and then I get to things that I like. But trust me, I like this movie. So the stuff that I'm going to be talking about right now is just going to be the stuff that I get off my chest about the stuff that I think about this movie that doesn't work or could be better. For one, the score. I don't care for the score. There are parts of the score I don't mind by Stanley Clarke. Like, there are bits of the pieces of the score that work, but as a whole, the score doesn't work for me because it's just so goddamn corny. Sounds like a friggin' sitcom, 90s television show theme. The score dates the film terribly. This movie came out in 92, and this score just dates the movie horribly. It's totally the typical early 90s score with the, saxophone and all this and that. It's just really out of place at points. At points, it just does not fit with the film. It sounds like something I remember hearing, the type of score you'd hear in, like, Action Jackson. But Action Jackson is a different movie than Passenger 57. And Action Jackson doesn't really take itself that seriously. Passenger 57 doesn't really take itself that seriously either, but in my opinion, it should. That's another problem I have in this film. There are points where it just is being goofy. It's just being goofy. The crap with the redneck sheriff, cut that shit out of the movie. It adds nothing to the film other than a cool fight scene where I get to see Wesley Snipes beat the shit out of two redneck cops. It's really about it. Because it just is, the redneck sheriff crap, what the fuck is going on here? It just feels like it's from a completely different movie than the one that you're watching. Like, you start out watching the movie and it's like a bad guy, terrorist, Bruce Payne, and he's Charles Rain, he's a terrorist, and he's on the run. They caught him and they're gonna try to fly him over to prison, and the FBI are on the plane with them, and then there's also Wesley Snipes, and things go wrong. It was a setup. Charles Rain had people on the plane and posed as flight attendants, and they take over the plane, and so you have that sort of aspect going on. So you're thinking it's just going to be a serious thriller, serious action thriller, but it just really kind of, at points, it becomes corny and cheesy, and like really kind of just, not, I don't know, it kind of makes it look like a joke, and I think that's the screenplay's problem. And there are a lot of people, critics, who they agree with that. They thought the screenplay was weak, and it has a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes. I disagree with the 23%. But the screenplay by David Lowery and Dan Gordon, based on a story by Stuart Raffle and Dan Gordon, could have really used some tuning up, and I really think the best thing it could have done, is take itself a little bit more seriously. It's fine. I'm fine with having one-liners and stuff, like Wesley Snipes saying, always bet on black. That's, hey Charlie, you ever play roulette? First rule is to always bet on black. That. Of course, this line, Charlie, you ever play roulette? On occasion. Well, let me give you a word of advice. Always bet on black. You know, you have awesome one-liners like that, okay. And that's totally, you know, in place with the way the screenplay is and with the film. But the goofy shit, like the fucking stupid-ass, you know, redneck sheriffs and, you know, bumbling cops and climax sort of taking place at a carnival. Like, I mean, really? Like, Bruce Payne shooting the heads off of friggin', you know, the main chase you have is on a freaking merry-go-round. Well, Bruce Payne is shooting a gun, and Wesley Snipes is hiding behind the merry-go-round horses, and he's shooting at him, and he blows the head off of one merry-go-round horse. And then, of course, that whole scene ends with Wesley Snipes waiting for the exact moment to leap off and tackle Bruce Payne's ass, and then he gets arrested again. And it's sort of a weird sort of setup where it's like this Bruce Payne gets arrested, like he gets caught like 3 different times. Like he gets caught in the beginning of the movie, then he gets caught again after he tries to escape from the plane. Then they try to catch him again the 3rd time, and then he manages to hijack the plane again. It's an interesting sort of dynamic that's going on. But like I was saying, the script, there are some issues. Like this old lady who sits down next to Wesley Snipes in the seat next to him and thinks he's Arsenio Hall. It's really kind of stupid. I never really thought it was funny. The ending of the movie where they're all like, after Wesley Snipes has kicked Bruce Payne's ass out of the plane, and you have the old lady starting woo 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 chants. It's just, no, please don't. So yeah, that's another thing that dates the movie terribly. But I'm just like, it just didn't know what it was trying to be. Like the tone of the film is either kind of corny and jokey or serious. It's like it'd be better off being serious because Bruce Payne's character is intimidating and a great villain, and he's not a joke. And to have the proceedings around this whole sort of scenario kind of play out like a joke just isn't the right vibe for me. And stupid lines like after Wesley Snipes kicks Bruce Payne out the window, out of the plane. He doesn't say a one-liner after he does it or whatever. But this is what he basically says. One of the FBI guys calls him and said, "What happened to Bruce Wayne?" Bruce Wayne. What happened to Bruce Wayne? I killed Bruce Wayne. No, Bruce Payne. The character's name is Rain. Charles Rain. Bruce Wayne? What the fuck? I got Batman on the brain for some reason. Got Bat on the brain! Anyway, so I have to laugh at that. Fuck, that's an epic fuck up. It's like not even. It didn't even. Okay, so Charles Rain, Wesley Snipes' character is not Charles Rain. Wesley Snipes' character is Cutter, John Cutter. And so Cutter, gets a phone call from the FBI guy, and he says, like, what happened to Rain? Did you take care of him? I was like, damn Skippy! I'm like, damn Skippy! What the fuck? That's what I'm saying. That kind of shit. Like, damn Skippy! Damn Skippy! Damn Skippy! That's not badass. That's fucking stupid. It's the kind of shit that you hear fucking Don Knotts or fucking Mayberry, and fucking the Andy Griffiths show say, damn Skippy. Or that's Skippy. Mr. Griffith? I mean, what the fuck? Damn Skippy. This is... Can you imagine? But anyway, yeah. Other than those moments, like I said, it's kind of a corny movie at points. I gotta be honest. The score sucks at points. Other times it's okay. But other times it just is... I thought it was just pitiful. I really did. With its saxophone and trying to be suave and falling flat on its ass. But other than that, other than the score, other than the jokey tone that doesn't work for me, I enjoyed the movie. I did. It's only like 80 minutes. It's like an 84-minute long movie. And without the end credits, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. It goes by fast. It's a fast-paced movie. Wesley Snipes kicks ass. I think he does a really good job in the role of John Cutter. This is the role that really catapulted him as a leading man, and rightfully so. He did a great job with this role. And definitely one of my favorite Wesley Snipes movies is Passenger 57. And it seemed like Wesley Snipes did most of his own stunts, which is impressive. And I guess originally this was meant to be a vehicle for Stallone, and but Stallone turned it down. So they got Wesley Snipes instead, and then they had a character, that was the agent guy, travel agent guy, played by you have Tom Sizemore's character, Sly DeVecchio, Cutter's old friend, and who works for the airline. His name is Sly, which is a reference to Stallone. Basically, it's their little and kind of jab at Stallone for not being in the movie, or homage. I guess you could say maybe it's a homage. But Tom Sizemore's okay. Like, he just plays like a smarmy sort of smart Alex, smart ass, sort of agent type character. And then you have Bruce Greenwood's in it as the head of this airline. And you have Bruce Payne, who plays the killer Charles Rain, who I think is great. He's not really a killer, he's a terrorist. He blew up he did a bunch of terrorist, he did a lot of terrorist attacks over in England and the UK. And now he's trying to do the same in the United States. I thought it was a pretty tense way the movie opened up, where he's about to get plastic surgery. And, you can tell he's a crazy motherfucker, because he's like, I don't need any painkillers. Like, it's like, well, we gotta give you the painkiller. I won't feel any pain. Like, I won't be feeling any pain. Right? Jesus Christ. What a nut job. And then, basically, he just keeps asking, like, he has a sort of kind of like a catchphrase with Charles Rain. He's like, what time is it? It's noon, and then dude's a scalpel, slices a dude's throat, runs away. The SWAT team tries to chase after him. He jumps through a window, and he lands, on an umbrella, whatever. It's from like one of those, dinner table things with the umbrella, on top of it. Lands, that helps break his fall, and he runs away, and eventually he gets cornered. He gets stopped, gets arrested, like I said, and he gets put on the plane. FBI agents, Sly DeVecchio convinces Wesley Snipes' character John Cutter to go on the plane, and sort of as some sort of security advisor for the plane and things like that. He doesn't tell him that the terrorist is on the plane, that Charles Rain is on the plane. And then I also like this bit of the script. There are parts of the script that don't work, but there's parts of the script that I thought did work. Then instead of doing the cliched sort of thing where Charles Rain, he's the one that killed his girlfriend, and now it is spill over to the revenge or whatever aspect, no, they don't do that. They have a really cool flashback scene I thought was really well done, and her cut with Snipes working out with the bag and doing kicks and doing martial arts, and with this black and white flashback of what happened to his wife. He went to a convenience store to get some food or whatever, and this guy comes in and tries to rob the place, and Cutter tries to stop him, and he's like, the guy's like, put the gun down. It's like, put the gun down, I'll blow her brains out. It's like, okay, all right, I'm putting the gun down. I put the gun down. And then the guy, like, is like, and then the guy he ends up shooting his wife. He still shoots his wife. That's for just even trying to stop me. Just shoots her right in the head. And then runs away, and Cutter gets him, though. He manages to, pump him full of lead, but it's too late. His wife is dead. Laying there, bleeding from her head. Blood pouring out of a head wound caused by a bullet. And he's just devastated. And you can tell that he's kind of like still dealing with that, and that's his inner turmoil he's dealing with, and rightfully so, because that's really brutal. It's like that just goes to show you that you can follow the rules, but crazy people, and they're gonna do whatever the fuck they want to. And this guy fucking killed his wife. He followed all the rules and everything that you're supposed to do as a cop, you know, in a hostage sort of situation, and it didn't matter. And that's just really tragic. I thought it was also well shot and well done. The whole film is actually pretty well directed by Kevin Hooks. I thought he did a good job. I liked the way that he had the camera angles that kind of shifted in angles. Certain points on the plane was like, when the plane, because the whole idea that Wesley Snipes had to get the plane to land after it ends up being taken over by Charles Rain, which there's a cool I thought it was a good scene with this little kid and Charles Rain. This little kid goes in and goes, pow! And, Bruce Payne's like, oh, you shot me. And then he goes in and shoots him with 2 fingers. And then he shows he has handcuffs. That was a nice little touch on Charles Rain's personality. And then I thought the twist of having, already having, people on board the plane that are, in on it with him was really, I thought was well handled. It was really spontaneous, just like it would be in real life. And you have an early role by Elizabeth Hurley as one of the flight attendants, and she turns out to be one of the bad guys. And I thought that was surprising to me. I didn't see that coming at all. So, and the last time, and I'd seen the movie before, but it'd been a while, so it wasn't fresh in my head. But I thought it was really well done. Elizabeth Hurley, she's hot, she's sexy, and also she plays a bad girl in this. And I was not expecting her to be one of Bruce Payne's accomplices. And I thought it was really well handled. She just shows up and just shoots the FBI agents. And then I like that there's a later scene in the film where Kevin Hooks actually shows the FBI agents dead. It shows that there's still dead people on the plane. They don't just pan away from it and act like it's not still there. It shows them with a bullet hole in their head, and bleeding and stuff like that. And like I said, I like the way that he shot the film. The camera angles when they shift at an angle or crooked at points when the plane, is losing fuel. Because that's the whole plan, that Cutter has. Kind of like Air Force One. I'm going to dump the fuel. So he dumps the fuel, and then the plane starts going at an angle and, messing up and things like that. And the camera angles in the film went along with whatever angle the plane seemed to be going at. And I thought that was a really nice touch. And then pretty much, as in terms of a plane hijacking thriller, it's not really on the plane that much. Maybe 30 minutes, maybe 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes total out of an hour and 20-minute long movie. I don't think it's that long, because even the first time when he takes it over, and I thought it really well handled fight scene with Wesley Snipes and one of the terrorists when he's hiding in the bathroom. And he was basically trying to get away from the old woman, who was giving him shit. He wasn't really giving him shit, he was just being, kind of annoying. Thinks he's Arsenio Hall. And it's a payback because this girl, Marty, who, before he decided to come on the plane, he was like a trainee. He was training for, flight attendants. And I thought that scene was really well handled, too, because it made it look like Wesley Snipes is a bad guy. Like, holy shit, he's a bad guy? What the fuck? He's got a gun to the flight attendant's head? What? I didn't know that. And then you're like, no. It's just part of an exercise. And I thought that was really well handled. And she tries some gung-ho shit. And Wesley Snipes is pissed at her. He's like, you can't do that in real life. Someone's got a gun to your head. They're going to put a bullet through your brain. That's stupid. Don't be pulling off this action hero bullshit. And so she's pissed at him. And so she tries to get back at him, by putting the old lady next to him and all that kind of crap. And so then he hides in the bathroom, and that's when, Charles Rain takes over the plane. And I like the whole scene where you really know he's, that he means business when he goes into the cockpit. And he's like, who's in charge here? He's like, I am. Just shoots him. Just shoots the fucking guy who says, I'm in charge. And it's like, anybody else have any other questions about who's in charge? Who's in charge? You are. It's like, yeah, it was a really good villain performance. I really thought Bruce Payne did an excellent job as Charles Rain. And so then Wesley Snipes is in there hiding in the bathroom. He thought he was hiding from the old lady, but actually he hears all the commotion, and he opens the door, and there's a nice bit of suspense, I thought, in this sequence where there's a guy with a gun. And he keeps opening and closing the door, and the other guy with the gun's looking at him, and eventually they get in a fight, and I thought it was really well handled. No shaky cam. It didn't seem like it had the limitations of a short enclosed bathroom stall, because the guy tries to go in the stall and he grabs the door and slams it on his arm first, knocks the gun out, then gets out of the bathroom stall and then kicks him, beats the shit out of him, with martial arts style, and good choreography, no shaky cam, and that's better in my opinion than the bathroom scene in Nonstop, and this gets a lower rating than Nonstop. This movie gets a pretty low rating on IMDb. If I remember correctly, it does not get that high of a rating at all. It gets it gets a 5.8, which I guess a 5.8 isn't that bad, but I think it could get a higher rating than that. And so I thought it was a good fight scene. It was short, it was quick, but had more impact than the scuffle between Liam Neeson and the other air marshal on Nonstop, which I didn't know what the fuck was going on. It was just, here it was slam the door on your arm, then kick the shit out of you outside the stall. I thought that was good. And then there's also a nice fight scene in the film where Wesley Snipes goes down the service elevator. We find out one of these service elevator, the guy who's supposed to just go up and deliver food is also in on it. Tries to fuck up Wesley with a knife. He kicks the shit out of him. A nicely shot, fight scene. You could really, the film does a great job showing that Wesley Snipes had learned martial arts and knew how to fend for himself. And then he decides to dump the fuel, and then pretty much to land the plane at a Cessna airport in some small town. And then that's when the movie kind of starts to lose it for me, because then that's when they introduce the fucking redneck cops. As Wesley tries his whole plan is he's going to jump off the airplane along with Marty, and they're going to jump off the airplane, and then he's going to taunt the FBI, and they're going to get everything taken care of, and take care of the bad guy, get Charles Rain off the plane, and take control of take back control of the plane and save the hostages and stuff. But he ends up getting cornered by this guy, a French guy, big, tall French guy. And he's played by Michael Horse, who is actually I think a Native American actor who played Tonto in Legend of the Lone Ranger, in 1981. Yeah, there was a Lone Ranger movie before the Johnny Depp movie. And it was a 1981 film, The Legend of the Lone Ranger, and he played Tonto in that. And so Tonto knocks Wesley Snipes' ass out of the plane, and then the rest of the preceding moments are some of my least favorite moments of the film. These two dumb fuck redneck cops come in and basically arrest Wesley Snipes. They don't believe that he's head of security, airport security. They think he's full of it, and he's like, "You gotta believe me." They arrest him. Then you have this small town sheriff guy who, trying to take credit for all, basically what happens, and Bruce Payne calls him, and he's like, "I need fuel, give me fuel. If you give me fuel, you'll be a hero. You're responsible for saving hundred, innocent people's lives." And this guy was played by Ernie Lively, Chief Biggs. And so, the whole sort of thing, they still have Wesley Snipes under arrest. They're going to take him over. They take him up to the sheriff guy. He doesn't believe him. Charles Rain basically tells the sheriff that Wesley Snipes is one of his own men, and he went renegade, and I want him back on the plane. But you can do whatever you want with him. And I like the whole line where Biggs is like, "Well, what would you do if you were in my shoes?" And I like Wesley Snipes' reaction. He's like, "I'd kill myself." And they're just, so there's two redneck cops and go in, and they take Wesley Snipes to the station, and Wesley kicks their asses. And I didn't mind that scene, but it's not necessary. We don't need redneck cops in this movie. So then the whole sort of drama about, okay, we're going to get the hostages off the plane, refuel the plane. The FBI guy comes over to the air control place, and it basically tells the sheriff guy, is like, what? Did you arrest John Cutter? Your men better not have touched John Cutter, otherwise you're going to be turning in your resignation papers. It's like, oh shit. And then what happens is Bruce Payne, his whole plan was to, because his whole thing is he disappears. Like, he sets up these terrorist, events. These, sets bombs on planes in different places just for a way for him to escape. He just basically escapes in the flames. But there isn't really a big explosion. You're thinking that he's going to blow up the plane or something, escape in the flames later. That's not what happens. They refuel the plane. Some of the hostages get off the plane. And then he tries to just blend into the background and ends up going to the carnival. And Wesley Snipes chases after him on a motorcycle after he beat the shit out of the fucking redneck cops. And gets on a motorcycle and chases after him. Goes to the carnival. You have that sort of showdown I told you about, where, it's on the merry-go-round. Nice stunt scene where he jumps on a Ferris wheel, Wesley Snipes, and shoots one guy off the Ferris wheel. And then Wesley jumps, finds Bruce Payne's location, jumps off the merry-go-round, knocks him out, gets arrested. They take him back to the airport. And they're the whole plan is to get him back on the plane so then they can have snipers shoot him in the head and then take care of the rest. And then you have this line of dialogue, which is one of my favorite lines. This is some of my favorite scenes in the film, where John Cutter, he says, like, I want to tell him myself. And he's all like, now I'm sick of your shit. You need the passengers. I need the plane. Put me back on board and the passengers will be released. Yeah, right. I'm supposed to trust you? Trust your instincts. My instincts are to wax your ass all over this floor. Those are your emotions acting without the benefit of intellect. So, I like that scene. And then this is basic. Then before that, though, is one of my favorite lines in the film, where he comes in and he's all like, Charles Rain is waiting for him, and John Cutter comes in to tell him the news. Mr. Cutter, how kind of you to pay me a visit. You've been a worthy adversary. It's a shame we won't be seeing much more of each other. Let me tell you something. If anybody else gets hurt on that plane, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a prison cell to keep me from ripping your fucking nuts off. Come to expect more from you than cheap vulgarities. I just love that. Rip your fucking nuts off. So Wesley Snipes is badass in this movie. So then what happens is he convinces him to go on the plane, making him think that he came up with a plan all along, when that's the whole point. He gets on the plane, but what happens is the sniper guys get taken out by one of Rain's men, who masqueraded as a paramedic, takes him out, starts snipering people. And then he gets back on the plane and starts he takes back the plane and take off and do whatever the fuck he wants with it. We don't know what he's gonna do. He just wants to escape because he's facing the death penalty. And then Wesley Snipes decides to get a ride from the FBI agent and DeVecchio, and he gets out of the window and basically leaps onto the landing gear. And it looks like Wesley Snipes did the stunt himself. And then the plane takes off, Wesley on the landing gear. It's kind of preposterous, I know. But he gets on the plane, kicks Michael Horse's ass in a nice fight scene too. Tries to fuck him up with a golf club. He takes it away from him, beats the shit out of him. Takes out some more guys. There's like one other guy. Wesley also took out the one guy who was sniped a bunch of people. He shot him with a bunch of bullet. Shot him point blank multiple times in the chest, and he fell down the stairs. And there's practical blood squibs too. It was nice to see that. And then there's like one more left, and it's Cutter. And it's not Cutter. Cutter's the good guy. Bruce Wayne. Cutter's the bad guy. Fuck. So So he's got one more left, and it's Bruce Payne's character. It's Rain. Charles Rain, and Charles Rain tries to take the girl hostage or lets her go. And I forgot also a good scene was when Charles Rain just basically shot some guy in the head. It's like an innocent man, right? Do you have a wife and kid? It's like, yeah. I got. Do you have children? I have a daughter. But tell Mr. Cutter that he's the reason why you'll never see her again. Bang! Just shot him right in the fucking head. It was brutal. It was well shot, well done, intense scene. And then you get the climax of the film where Payne and Bruce Payne and Wesley Snipes, face off and fight. And it's not shaky cam. Wesley Snipes uses the chairs, like the backs of the seats, to leap on top of them and do like jump kicks, like in Bruce Payne's face. And they have a small enclosed space, but they make good use of it, I thought the film did, with the fight choreography. Bruce Payne thinks he's got Wesley Snipes, got him by the neck, he's strangling him with the oxygen, masks, with one of the oxygen masks. And Wesley Snipes ends up getting away from him, punches him, elbows him. And for some reason, Wesley just liked to hit Bruce Payne in the fucking balls repeatedly in this film. Like in this final fight, it's nut shot, nut shot. Like even when the cabin depressurizes and one of the doors blows out, and Bruce Payne's holding on for dear life. Wesley's kicking him, and then he just has to make sure to hit him with another nut shot. It's just like, kicks him in the chest, with the face, and punches him a little bit. Make sure to kick him in the nuts one more time, and then knocks him out of the plane. And then Rain, falls out of the plane screaming to his death. And I was like, I just thought it was funny because it just seemed like Wesley Snipes just made it. Cutter just made it. His duty to just pummel the ever-loving fuck out of Charles Rain's balls. Just well, he meant it. Like, I'm gonna rip your nuts off. So I guess he did mean what he said. So he kicks his ass and he kicks out of the plane. They didn't really show the plane landing, I remember correctly. It wasn't anything dramatic or anything. The landing of it. He just knocked the bad guy out of the plane. I think the film cuts then, and they're already landed, and Wesley Snipes is hanging out with the flight attendant girl Marty, and then you also had of course earlier he goes in the cockpit and he knocks out Elizabeth Hurley in a scene I liked where she's like, oh, who it was like, who is it? Like, what's going on? Why are you turning around? Because Wesley Snipes told the pilot guys to turn around. Why are you turning around? Who told you to turn around? And he's like, and then Cutter's like, I did. It's like, what? And then he just cold cocks her right in the face. And then before he sets her down, he's like, what a shame. and then of course, then you have the damn Skippy line, which is stupid. And then he gets the girl, and then you have that cheesy ass soundtrack, and he walks away with the girl on the tarmac, and you see fireworks in the background, and the movie ends. I was like, oh, okay, all right, I like Passenger 57. I enjoy the movie, but it does have its corny moments, man. But really, what makes it worth it is Wesley Snipes. He kicks ass as John Cutter, takes names. It's a good bet. His character is a good bet. Always bet on black. It's a good one. It's a good bet. And good villain, Charles Rain. Bruce Payne is great as the bad guy. And there's some decent supporting things. Like the love interest, she was okay. She wasn't much really of a character, but she was all right. I didn't mind her, Marty Slayton, who was played by Alex Datcher. And some good fight scenes, and some fun lines of dialogue, and some fun moments, some good one-liners, and well directed. And it's a short film. It gets really short, goes by really quick, and that's a good thing. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It never feels that long, and it's exciting. It's entertaining. It's fun to watch. But like I said, it does have its flaws. I think the tone at points is a little bit too silly and goofy. with the redneck cops and the whole crap at the carnival. It's like, why did this need to happen at a carnival? It's okay, but it just, I don't know. Maybe it could have not been at a carnival. That would have been, like, especially not in the merry-go-round. And then, you know, like I said, some bits of humor don't work. Damn Skippy. But anyway, overall, I enjoyed Passenger 57. Really don't know what to say except a rate out of 5 stars. I give it 3.5. I'm not going to give it 4 or 5. Because, like I said, those flaws in the... Well, actually, no. I'll give it 4. I'll give it 4 out of 5 because, honestly, I really enjoyed the film. And there's really only a few things, like I said, that I think don't work about the movie. And they're not enough to bring it down at 1.5 stars. The stuff with the redneck cops is not enough to bring it down 1.5 stars. The carnival was kind of, but there were things about it that worked. Like I said, I like the Ferris wheel scene. But overall, I thought it did a good job with its premise. It didn't stay on the plane. It landed the plane, took the action elsewhere. When it got back on the plane, anytime you had action on the plane, I thought they did a good job with that. They didn't feel like they were restricted with the choreography that they could use. And, you know, have Wesley Snipes being a badass. And a badass villain right alongside him and Bruce Payne. And just a really enjoyable, fun action flick that you just don't see nowadays. But yeah, so yeah, I enjoyed Passenger 57. If you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of 90s or late 80s action movies, fan of that old school action, check out Passenger 57. And I really don't know what else to say except thanks for watching my review, and I'll see you guys later. See ya.